Hey, Dutchies, we've made it to the end of the month of May. 5 Fridays in a row, and this was our brew month because every word this month had a BRU at the beginning of it. And we're going to close out the month with one more. Now, I've had all verbs all month, but I'm going to finish the month off on a noun, and that is the word es Bruderskind. Es Bruderskind, which literally is brother's child. It is the Pennsylvania Dutch word for nephew or niece. Now, notice that Bruderskind is a neuter noun. It is not masculine or feminine, and that's why we can use it for either nephew or niece. Now, I know in standard German, they have separate words for nephew and niece, Neffe and Nichte in standard German. But in Pennsylvania Dutch, we have Bruderskind, which can be either or, depending on what is it a nephew or a niece, but you can use the same word as Bruderskind. And I'm going to show you a sample sentence, of course, like I always do. Mein Bruderskind, ihre Name ist die Emily. My Bruderskind, ihre Name ist die Emily. My niece's name is Emily. Now, for those of you that maybe are just new to learning Pennsylvania Dutch and you're looking at this sentence, you're like, that's really awkward. My niece or nephew, her name is Emily. Why can't you just say, my niece is Emily? Well, you could, but this is showing that, the way we show possession in Pennsylvania Dutch is really different from how we do it in English. We are literally saying my niece or nephew, her name. My niece or nephew, her name is Emily in this case. So my niece, her name is Emily. And if you're really serious about learning the language, I do have a video on the YouTube channel that explains how to form these to show possession, because it's not just simply apostrophe S like we do in English, which is so much easier. Pennsylvania Dutch, it's a little bit more tricky. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't say complicated, but there's a little bit more going on. So if you want to learn more about possession or showing possession, check out that video. It's in the dative section because we use the dative case, a little grammar nerd topic here, but we use the dative case to show possession. We make niece or nephew in the dative. That's why it's mein Bruderskind, ihre Name ist die Emily. So, but you can just use Bruderskind as niece or nephew. Like if you're at your house and your niece or nephew walk in, you can say, hey, it's my Bruderskind. It's my niece or nephew. It's an easy word to use. It's fun to say too. So we finished out the month of May with our BRU words. Next month, June, and the advent of summer. I haven't figured out what the topic's going to be for next month yet, but I'll work on that, and I'll have fresh new Friday word of the weeks coming out then in the month of June. Till then, dear friends, keep practicing your Pennsylvania Dutch. Practice, practice, practice. And don't think that practicing is boring. Make it fun. That's the way you're going to get better. And you're going to want to do it more if you can figure out a way to make it fun. And how do you make it fun? Well, it depends on what kind of things you like to do. Maybe it's just walking around the house, shouting these words at the top of your lungs. And when anybody says, oh, what are you doing? And you say, I'm just practicing my Pennsylvania Dutch. Hey, Bruderskind. And then they'll say, what's that? Niece or nephew, or brumma, like from earlier in the month, to purr. Maybe that's the way you're going to do it. But practice in a fun way. Don't think that you're sitting there and drilling and drilling and drilling. Yeah, that's not fun. You got to make it fun. And if you make it fun, it's really fun when you start doing this with other people and you can bounce them off each other and quiz each other and have fun with it. That's the way to learn a language, not just looking at your notes all the time. Yeah, there's merit to that, but is that fun? And are you going to enjoy it? And is it going to stick? Probably not as much as if you're playing with the language. And that's what I want you to do. Get out there and play with the language. Use it. All right, dear friends, till next week, keep practicing your Pennsylvania Dutch and mach's gut.